Parliament in Kyrgyzstan has approved the closure of the U.S. Manas Air Base near the capital Bishkek. Washington considers it the only reliable facility to deliver supplies to Afghanistan. But the presence of American soldiers in the country for the last 8 years has been a source of tension for the local population, sometimes with deadly consequences. RT's Yegor Piskinov investigates.
Gulmira Bekhtanova's life has been scarred forever. She lives in the Kyrgyz capital Bishkek, and on one evening 7 years ago, she, along with her friend, were run over by an SUV driven by an American officer serving at the Manas base. Her injuries were so bad, Gulmira's spleen had to be removed, her liver was damaged, and she suffered a major brain concussion.
The road was clear. We started crossing and all of a sudden we saw bright lights, heard the sound of car brakes. Then there was a hit and I don't remember anything after that.
The officer's name has never been made public, and some sources suggest he was drunk during the incident. Other reports say he avoided the drug check due to diplomatic immunity enjoyed by all staff at the base. It is known this man remains unpunished.
You can move away, turn the cameras off.
This wasn't the only incident involving American soldiers and locals. In 2006, a Kyrgyz citizen was shot dead by a U.S. serviceman at the base. There have also been reports of fights between military staff and the local population. That's why for some, news that Parliament has approved the closure of the base was more than welcome.
Some people may forgive them, but I can't. I know it's a sin, but I hate them with all my heart.
The effect the base has on the lives of local children is also causing concern. There have been reports of American planes dumping excess fuel mid-air, which rains down on surrounding villages, just like this one near the capital.
We're living here and raising our children. Why do we need this U.S. air base? We don't need it at all. We're living in a peaceful time.
Around 15,000 personnel and 500 tons of cargo pass through Manas each month. It was occupied by the U.S. 8 years ago and remains vital for Pentagon's operations.
This base is extremely important because the transit of cargo to Afghanistan from Pakistan is becoming increasingly difficult. 70% of supplies sent by the Americans do not reach their destinations.
Now that the Parliament has approved Manas's closure, it's up to the President to make the final decision. If passed, the U.S. will have 180 days to get out. And with around 30,000 U.S. troops currently stationed in Afghanistan, the closure of Manas could be a major headache for the Obama administration. He's just announced he's sending 17,000 more troops in the near future. Yegor Piskinov, RT.
And now to speak to me about the Kyrgyz Parliament's decision to close the Manas base, I'm now joined on the phone by Artyom Ulanyan. He's an analyst from the Institute of World History. Thanks very much indeed for joining us. Now, why do you think the Kyrgyz government was so keen to close this base?
I suppose there are two main reasons. First of them, of course, the ailing Kyrgyz economy depending totally on the Russian financial support. And Kurmanbek Bakiyev, bearing in mind Russian concern over deployment of foreign bases in the near abroad, tried to make Kremlin quiet on this question. And the second one, I suppose, that Kurmanbek Bakiyev now is interested also in support, to get the support during the coming presidential elections in autumn. And many things will depend also on the foreign support. I suppose this is Moscow support, which is very important to Kurmanbek Bakiyev. There are political and financial reasons, as you see.
So you say one of them, the reasons for the presidential election coming up, so the Kyrgyz people did not support this base at all. Why was it such bad news for the local people of near Bishkek and near this base?
It is rather difficult to analyze this question because there are supporters and opponents of this closure. Among those who oppose, of course, who were employed in these bases. And also among those who oppose this question are those who consider that Kyrgyzstan should pass a so-called multi-directional foreign policy, and that Kyrgyzstan should not depend on one superpower. But among those who support this decision, of course, those who favor Russian influence in Kyrgyzstan, political and financial also. So we can say about some sort of cleavage in Kyrgyz society, but not on the equal part.
But this couldn't have come at a worse time when the US is beefing up its campaign in Afghanistan, along with NATO, of course. What other alternatives does the US have now? Will it approach other Central Asian countries for supply routes in this important military campaign?
I did get it. If I'm not mistaken, now Washington is interested in improving relations with Uzbekistan and Tajikistan. Now Tajik President Emomali Rahmon also visited Brussels, where he practically supported the idea of deployment of foreign bases in Tajikistan. But of course he did not say it openly, but he gave some signs that he is interested in close cooperation with NATO, in particular this question, because Tajikistan is situated, as you know, near to Afghanistan. It's a very dangerous situation now. And of course Uzbekistan also the center of Washington's policy after the events of 2005, when these relations practically deteriorated. Now Washington gave some signs to Islam Karimov, the president of Uzbekistan, that American support to some sort of Islam Karimov policy they can produce already in the nearest future.
Just briefly and finally, you mentioned Russian influence in Central Asia. NATO and Russia are really trying to patch up relations at the moment. This surely isn't going to help the relations between the two countries, NATO, Russia and the US.
You see, of course, Moscow now is in a very difficult position. On one side, of course, Moscow is interested in continuation of policy which the United States and their allies have in Afghanistan. But on another side, Moscow is afraid of increasing American and NATO influence in Central Asia. Therefore, I suppose Kremlin practically has some sort of challenges before it, and now it elected, or it decided to sort out this policy one step forward, two steps back, if we call it.
All right. Okay, well, thanks very much indeed, Artyom Ulanyan from the World History Institute. Thanks very much for giving us your analysis on the situation there. We very much appreciate you being with us here on RT. Thank you.